Welcome to Providence's annual Harvest Festival. My name is Samantha Gronendijk, and I'm the Vice President for External Relations here at Providence. We are grateful that you've chosen to join us for this event. Let us know where you're joining from in the comments. We're so glad you're here. Tonight, we invite you to join us as we explore God's faithfulness to Providence. Over 96 years, God has sustained Providence's mission to train students in knowledge, character, for leadership and service. God has remained steadfast as our community has faced change, transition, and unprecedented times. We look into the future knowing that this same God will be faithful into the next chapter, not only for our institution, but also for our broader community. As an institution, we have the distinct privilege of seeing God's faithfulness in the lives of Providence students. At Providence, Christian leaders are equipped for a wide variety of vocations, enabling them to participate in God's creative and redemptive work in the world. In this way, they're prepared for their own next chapters and sent out into businesses, ministries, and communities where they will serve God. Tonight, you will hear some of their stories, as well as the stories of some employees who have had the opportunity to serve these students. We'll begin by hearing from some alumni and current students who have followed in their parents' footsteps and studied at Providence. While they studied here at different times in the institution's history, the impact they've each felt has been just as powerful.
My name is Joan Vanderlind. I graduated in 1986 with a Bachelor of Arts in Christian Ministries with a counseling track.
My name is Gina Turnbull. I graduated from Providence in 2017 with a Bachelor of Arts, majoring in Business Administration and Church Ministries.
My name is Jerry Michalski, and I've attended Prof twice in my life so far. The first time I graduated in 1990 with my Master's of Divinity, and the second time was in 2005 when I graduated with my Doctorate in Ministry.
And my name is Jordan Michalski, and I'm currently working on my Master of Divinity from Providence, and with the intention of one day doing my Doctorate of Ministry as well.
My name is Karen Jolly. I graduated from Providence in 2010 with an MA in Educational Studies.
Toby Jolly. I'm currently doing a Master of Arts in Counseling at Prov. I started in January of 2019.
The fact that my mom went to Prov did influence my decision to go to Providence as well. We ran into mom's college friends just about anywhere. It was evident to me that this was a place where lifelong friendships were built and fostered, and so I thought that kind of small and intimate community where these lifelong connections were made was really appealing to me.
I just remember having this excitement in my heart that my child wanted to do something that I had done, because usually it's not the cool thing for the child to do what the mom did. I loved the community life. I loved the dorm life. I loved all that connection and that socializing, and I knew that that would be something you would really connect with. And I was just super excited to keep going back, going into the gym, watching sports with her, and just experiencing. I felt like I relived my years.
I chose Prov. After I graduated from university, had a clear call to ministry, knew where I was going. In 1988, transferred to Prov to finish off my master's. It was always a school on my list to go to, so it was very beneficial in that way. And then in 2005, right at that point, I needed to get back into study, I needed to get back into education, and so I decided to enroll in the Doctorate of Ministry program, which actually helped me flush out my dissertation and live it. And it became really the blueprint to where we are today in the planting of our church back in 2004.
And your decision to choose Providence undeniably impacted my decision to choose Providence. When I was young, you always taught me to think critically about issues of and matters of faith and religion and society and culture in general. And after receiving a call to ministry and had already done a lot of school in public university, I wanted that theological depth and that ability to analyze and learn and to grow again in the context of a community.
Studying at Providence has really helped me to learn and to grow and to figure out where my faith is. I remember sitting there sometimes like butterflies in my stomach because it was moving me from the place that I became comfortable and I had to move to the next space. But I look back now and I think, man, those were moments that I really needed to grow in that area, and It's had impact on me in my own life, but also moving forward and in the ministry that I have, it has impact there too.
I think permission to really wrestle with things, and it was permission from professors at Providence who said it's okay to disagree, it's okay to wrestle, it's okay to question, and to always be a little bit willing to learn what the Bible has to teach you. So yeah, never gonna know enough things, and that's okay.
My time at Providence reinforced for me the biblical foundation. So the truths of the scripture, knowing the power of God's word, the power of prayer, and the power of worship.
Prov prepared me for the years to come. Students have the opportunity to fumble through leadership in different contexts and just try it out and be encouraged to be an RA. Like you were an RA, right?
Yeah, but it was terrifying.
So you can, lead in a dorm context, in a sports context, be a leader of a group project or worship team, but you have people encouraging you the whole time. They're kind of telling you what they see in you, calling out your giftings and giving you the space to try and lead, and that's why so many leaders are developed at Providence.
So my time at Prov prepared me for ministry. I remember in some of my classes, I never had a notebook. I actually just used my Bible. And my Bible was my notebook, and I still have it today. And in the margins, you see my notes. And still something I still go to this very day, depending on what we're looking at.
I love the fact that I could learn something in the classroom, hash through ideas related to ethics or theology or a deep dive in the scriptures, and then I can turn that around, and the next day at work there's a practical application. It's a formative education that forms me as I practice as a pastor, and the two go hand in hand together, and it's been an incredibly enriching experience for my ministry here at Soul.
Providence is the reason that we have lived in Manitoba for almost 20 years. We have zero family here. We came when my dad started, and then you started, and then Joel started, and then a while later I started.
As a family, Indigenous family coming to Providence, we came to learn, to grow, but I think a lot of healing needed to happen in our lives, allowing God to heal those places in my heart that needed healing, and raising my kids in a way where they love and honor God. And at Providence, we learned to do that.
There are two central parts of us. It's this faith and this identity, this cultural identity, and they belong together. It's not one trumps the other. So being this Indigenous family who invaded that space in some way and made it our own in some way and left our mark there, I think that's really important.
Our life is to love people and to take care of people and to minister to people. And Providence has given us that ability to do that. I am so proud of my kids. They're the ones that are going to go way farther than we've been able to. And that's something that I pray towards, that their impact will be even greater than what we've been able to do, because I see them where they're at now, and the things that they've learned and the places that they've grown, their impact will be felt more.
Stories like these, which span generations, help to understand the breadth and depth of God's provision to our students and institution. People are drawn to Providence because they want to see individuals trained to serve God throughout the world in every professional sphere and circumstance. Our employees are some of the most passionate about the mission of Providence. Each staff and faculty member consistently gives over and above their time and energy into this place and into our students. Their dedication to providing the highest standard of excellence and seeing students transformed at Providence is in many ways the lifeblood of the institution, and it's critical to how Providence will progress into the future. Next, we'll hear from 4 such employees. Some of these employees in particular have been a part of the community for half of the institution's life, and when combined, their total years of service at Providence equal 142 years. They know well God's faithfulness and will share their excitement for what is to come.
I've been here for 46 years. I came here as a 22-year-old. I've obviously seen a lot and a lot of change, perhaps more change than the average Christian institution of higher learning. I know people like to say that the only constant is change, but when an institution has undergone as much change as we have, I'd have to say the only constant is the faithfulness of God.
I attended Winnipeg Bible College first in 1985, and I hold a BA from 1988. I was hired by Dr. Al Hebert as college faculty secretary in 1989. And if I reflect on my time at Providence, it doesn't take long for me to be reminded of God's past care. We have seen very difficult times before, and God has carried us through.
I remember one situation back in the financial crisis of the early 1980s when interest rates had reached 18%.
We ran out of our operating line of credit, which was, I think, $800,000 at the time. So Dr. Eichhorst and myself went to the Royal Bank in Winnipeg, and we just said, we have no money. So the bank manager said, well, could you run a bingo or something like that? And we just looked and we says, no, we can't run a bingo. We went to the staff and faculty and we said, we can't meet payroll.
They asked if we would be willing to forego our paychecks, acknowledging that doing so would be breaking a contract and enabling all of us to walk away.
That was the last resort we wanted, but we had no choice.
Nobody left. We all stayed. We all carried on. We all built this place.
You know, God continues to bring amazing people to this organization. I think we have a lot of great momentum that's building. I think Dr. Anderson is the right person for the job at the right time in our history. I'm excited for the team that we have built here at Providence, and there's just so many good opportunities that are on the horizon.
The core of our vision is to be a learning community that is transforming students' lives. Today, the educational emphasis is on much more than ministry training. We are equipping our students to integrate their faith with a wide range of professional and academic programs that didn't exist 30 years ago.
We have probably the youngest, leanest, meanest leadership team that we've ever had. And they have vision. Anything can be done.
We set ambitious goals, which means we have to work our butts off to kind of accomplish those goals, but then it's allowed us to really accomplish a lot of things, I think, within an athletics program in a very small school, relatively speaking. And I'm just super proud of our coaches and all the time and commitment that they've put in.
I've worked at other places, but nothing has this same kind of family feeling.
You're teaching people to see themselves differently, to see the social world differently, better, more accurately. There's nothing I'd rather do.
Prof's still here, and a lot of struggles, but maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, then we don't take God for granted. We have to always rely on God.
More than ever, I think we have to have educational opportunities in Canada in today's culture where we have the role of training the next generation of professionals and leaders while actively mentoring them and building them up in their faith.
We are equipping our students to integrate their faith into their education in every field. It's an exciting time.
Every year I say this is going to be the best year yet. But looking at God's faithfulness in the past, in the present, and in the future, I'm excited about what is going to be happening here.
We have good people and good programs in every department of the institution. We have a good opportunity to be very distinctive in Christian higher education, and we have a good God.
I'm Scott Masterson.
Marla Williamson.
My name is Dennis Hebert.
Gary Schellenberg. As long as we continue to be difference makers, I will be here.
As we look to the future of Providence, we see great opportunity to serve and disciple students. We've been tasked with carrying out God's call for our institution into the future and will continue to look to Him for provision and strength in doing so. Join with us in praying that God's will be done and that students will come to know Him more through their education at Providence. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce you tonight to our keynote speaker and president, Dr. Kent Anderson. President Anderson began his term as Providence's 15th president on June 1st, 2021. Coming to Providence from Vancouver, British Columbia, he served the Northwest Baptist Seminary community for 25 years in various capacities, including Professor of Homiletics and President. He graduated from Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Fort Worth, Texas, with a Doctor of Philosophy in 1997. President Anderson is a published author, sought-after preacher, and is best known for his pioneering leadership in competency-based theological education. Join me in welcoming him as he shares his vision for Providence's next chapter and his heart for forming and equipping Providence's students.
I'm so pleased to be part of the Providence story. As your new president, only recently begun, I feel like I've jumped into the middle of the book without having read the earlier chapters. And this is challenging because now I find that I'm one of the writers of the story, which seems a little audacious, particularly as I imagine the opportunities that are in front of us. And as some of you might know already about me, I have a pretty big imagination. But I want to encourage you by the fact that while we are writing a new chapter for Providence, it is the same book. While we are pursuing new and larger opportunities, it's the same mission to help people grow in knowledge and character for leadership and service. Everything you've loved about your school is still in place. We're now just imagining an even larger kingdom impact as we seek to serve one another more effectively and sustainably for many years to come. As the 15th Providence president, I understand that I benefit from those who have come before me. And if I'm able to see a little further, as Isaac Newton said, it's because I stand on the shoulders of giants. And one of those giants is my dear friend David Johnson, who I've known and appreciated for many years. As I travel around now, meeting the people of Providence, I hear of those people's love for David's faithfulness and his consistent pursuit of the Providence mission. And it's humbling to think that I'm now carrying that same tradition that David himself inherited from others like Gus Conkle and Larry McKinney, Bill Eichhorst, Ken Hanna, and so many others. While the world around us will inevitably change and challenge, we will remain anchored to the one who never changes, and that is, of course, the person of Jesus. We will stay rooted in God's word. Even as we seek to enlarge our vision, we will stay committed to the things that have always driven the Providence narrative, a passion for students and their story of discipleship. Each student has a unique story that brings them through the doors of Providence. Each one is seeking to be equipped for their own next chapter. And it's an absolute pleasure to facilitate the process by which they might meet Jesus here and be powerfully equipped to make an impact on the world themselves. Through thick and thin, Providence has met its mission. For 96 years now, we're going to keep doing it. We're going to be even more responsive to the needs of students in their context, working directly with churches and businesses and missional agencies and employers. We're going to make sure that students are formed not only in their minds, but with their hands and their hearts as well. It is the same book, just a different chapter. One I expect will be good reading as the story is told for years to come.
Each of our students has a unique story which draws them to Providence, yet each also shares a common goal. That is to be equipped to serve their communities, organizations, family, and friends wherever it is that God calls them to next. As Providence seeks to make an impact on the lives of our students, we depend on the financial partnership of those in our community to help make this possible. Providence trains leaders for the future. Providence's more than 10,000 alumni are serving in charities, nonprofits, and other businesses around the world, making an impact daily for God's kingdom. Their work is important, serving those who are less fortunate, providing critical services, helping those in their communities, and more. We hear time and time again that Providence prepared them for this work. By supporting Providence, you're supporting the leaders who are going to serve these causes into the future. Would you consider making a donation that will directly impact Providence students? A gift today to the Providence Fund helps to ensure that we can continue doing what we do best, transforming students into difference makers in their churches, neighborhoods, and workplaces in Manitoba, throughout Canada, and around the world. 3 generous donors have come together to give an $8,500 match gift for this evening's Harvest Festival. Because of their generosity, the impact of your gift is doubled. All gifts made towards this event, no matter their amount, will be counted towards this match and will provide support that's critical to carrying out our mission to develop students' knowledge and character for leadership and service of Christ in a changing world. We want to thank Kleefeld Construction, Libby Hanna and Chris Wiebe, and an anonymous donor for coming together to offer us this generous match gift. There are 2 ways you can make your gift tonight: online or through the mail. To make an online credit card gift through our website, either click on the link in the caption of this post or type prov.ca/give into a new tab in your browser. The other option is simply to send a check in the mail addressed to Providence. Those of you who received a Harvest Supper tonight will have also received a package including a reply card and envelope, which you can use to make the donation. Thank you so much for prayerfully considering partnership in Providence's mission in this way. Let's now hear from 2 alumni who have chosen to prioritize investing in Providence and why it means so much to them.
My name is Ryan Burt-Vidal. I graduated in 2006 with a Bachelor of Arts in Aviation.
And my name's Melissa Burt-Vidal. I graduated in 2007 with a Bachelor of Arts and major in Business Administration. We choose to give to Prov for different reasons, and our reasons aren't always the same, but it still ends up at the same point. I choose to give because of the experience that I had here, the small class sizes, the learning environment, and the community that was developed for myself while I was here.
The ability to integrate the kind of the physical and spiritual aspects of my life, the pursuit of aviation, as well as being able to think critically, that really came from my time here at Providence. And so now being able to give back to Providence is really important.
So if someone was considering giving to Prov, I'd say just do it. It's a great return on investment.
There's no buyer's remorse. And so for us, knowing that you're doing it for something else, for someone else, and specifically for Providence.
And I find giving to Providence specifically, it keeps me young, it keeps me connected, it keeps me engaged with this community. Every time I put on my Prov hoodie, for a moment I'm transported back to being a student, and that eagerness and hopefulness that I had at those times, that I'm being a difference maker and I'm supporting a community of difference makers.
Your participation in the Providence community is critical to carrying out our mission. The prayers and partnerships of our students, employees, alumni, friends, and donors help Providence to meaningfully invest in the lives of the next generation of leaders. A new and exciting chapter is ahead of us. We draw strength for the future from a strong history of God's faithfulness and from our firm foundation in the person of Jesus, in who our hope is found. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey.